Welcome to the fresh 92.7 SARL panel. I'm Laura Kidd and we'll be discussing Division 1 and 2 rounds 4 to 9 leading up to the Sports Centre Cup Grand Final. I'm joined by Panthers player Luke Sunley, Eels 2 captain Nigel and Roosters White player Scott Dawson. Welcome guys.
G'day, good to be here.
Luke, let's start with you. You've been playing rugby league for over 10 years.
Yep.
You've been playing and you've been coaching.
Yes.
Interstate and in Adelaide, how have you maintained your thrive for the game?
I guess the best way to describe that would be just seeing the kids coming through. So we've got a good wealth of juniors at the moment at the Panthers, and we've always had a good wealth of juniors from my old club back in Victoria. And just seeing them, their love of the game and the way they really enjoy getting out there on a Sunday makes me want to come back every Sunday and keep going.
In your opinion, how have the Woodville Panthers progressed as a club?
Well, from the start of the season, we were building as a brand new club. We haven't had the year we probably would have liked, performance-wise in the field, but get those players back next year, good pre-season, good solid base, and then we'll make an attack next year.
Yep. And Panthers will be facing the TEC Titans in Division 2 minor semi-final, who you faced a few rounds back at Port Pirie. How do you feel the boys will go up against them this weekend?
Look, I think we can't underestimate them. We probably did that last time a little bit, and they turned out with the same amount of players that we turned out in the field, and they did us. So I think we've got to go in expecting that they're going to bring a full squad, and expecting a tough fight, and we'll have to be on our game from the word go.
Yep. So what have you been working on since the last time you faced them?
Basically, our defensive work. Our defensive work was very poor last time. Just getting numbers in the tackles and just trying to slow that, play the ball down, slow that ruck down, control that speed of the game.
Yep. All right, Nigel, let's move on to you. You've been playing SARL since 2006. Over the years, you've been with some more exciting new players you've seen into the game. What's this been like?
Look, yeah, it's great to see the players, not just our clubs, but from various clubs come through the system. At the moment, we've got some fantastic juniors that are playing under 18s and the weekends playing both Division 1 and Division 2. So we're, as a club, really looking forward to the next few years where we're at. Probably a couple of individuals would be Cole Sutton, Chris, Scott Bradshaw, he's going to be a superstar of the future as well, and Brody Black. So we've got a really good young crew coming through, and they're certainly pushing us on the field to get better and better each week. Yep.
In 2012, you coached the Eels side and then took a year off, missing out the Eels winning their Division 2 premiership. Now you're back. Are you hungry to help the boys defend the title?
Yeah, unfortunately I did miss that one, but no, well done to the guys. And so having been the coach the year before that, certainly with them winning it, I was extremely proud of those guys. Certainly going through a couple of lean years before taking that premiership. So for me personally, yeah, I'd love to obviously get the win this year as well. Now I'm back involved in the club and helping out. But look, last year's premiership was huge for the club for those guys. But yeah, we've certainly got a big finals campaign ahead of us, which we hope to do the same this year.
And they struggled a little bit in the earlier part of the season. However, they have really come along strong in the last few weeks. To what extent have you seen them grow?
Yeah, certainly. Look, for us, it's been strength of numbers. I think all the clubs are probably the same. In the panel here, we've really struggled with numbers early in the season. Now everyone's sort of coming back on board, and it always happens every year towards the final. So now we've got numbers on board. Yep. We've got the across the back line and forward pack, we've got plenty of numbers and options to choose from. And like I said, those young guys are really leading the charge for us. So we're pretty happy where we're sitting at the moment.
Yep. Straight out the bat, you're facing Division 2 minor premiers, Roosters White in the Division 2 major semi-finals. How do you think your side will fare?
Yeah, no, we are taking the minor premiers this week. Look, I'm expecting nothing but a great game. We're both actually coming off a week off, so I'm expecting the first probably 10-15 minutes, Scott, you probably agree, to be quite fast and furious, and that'll set the game up from there. So, look, it'll be a really big game. I think we have a great chance to take this one and go straight through the grand final, but no doubt, Scott, you're going to think otherwise. So, looking forward to it.
And last but not least, Scott, last year Roosters White competed in Division 1 and were knocked out of the finals by the Northern Dragons. This year you're top of Division 2 ladder with just one loss to your name. How do you feel your team has performed in the Division 2 draw as opposed to the first 7 rounds?
I think it's sort of hard to really pick between two. I think we fared pretty well up until the split. We were sitting quite high on the table, and then obviously we ended up in Division 2, and I challenged my guys to strive for that minor premiership, and that was the first goal. But that means nothing if we don't make it to September 6th.
Yep. And having been the counterpart to a second and traditionally more dominant Roosters side for several seasons, sorry, have you missed the chance to challenge the Blues on the field?
No, well, we've actually played them twice in the last 2 years, and I'd like to say that my guys did put a real solid effort against the Blue side. We played them earlier this year, and I think leading into the final 10-15 minutes of the game, we were only 6 points down. So, and our boys always rise to the occasion to play each other. There's certain guys who obviously think they should be in that Blue side, and that gives them a chance to try and prove it.
Yep. And speaking of the Roosters Blue, watching them face some difficulty in Division 1 from the dominance of the Henley Raiders, how do you think they'll fare in their quest for 3 premierships in a row?
Look, I think if the boys find that hunger and work hard for each other over the next couple of weeks, anything's attainable, and I think they've got that drive there to be the first team in our club history to actually win 3 in a row.
Yep. And for your own side, what do you feel will be the greatest challenge to fight for the Division 2 premiership?
I think not being complacent is probably a big one. I think when we come up against Eels 2 a couple of weeks ago, a few of the boys, we probably did take it a bit light, and Eels pulled our pants down, and we've learnt from that. So I think that's going to be the big challenge, is getting past this week first of all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good luck, guys. Thanks for joining.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
We're now here with the Division 1 Henley Raider player Simon Wilks and the Eels 1 player Ducky. Welcome, guys.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much.
All right, let's start with you, Simon. You're from Leeds, the UK.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about rugby league over there.
There's not a massive difference really between SA rugby and the rugby that I was playing in the UK, because I was playing in the Pennine League.
Okay.
And I'd say the main difference is there's a lot more clubs and leagues, so that's pretty much the only difference between the and obviously the weather. It's a lot better than the weather over here.
And you played for the SARL All Stars.
Yeah.
That was a couple of weeks ago. How was it playing against some of the bigger PI boys and New Zealand guys?
Oh, it was brilliant, to be honest. I mean, obviously some of them are units.
Yeah.
And I got run over a couple of times, I reckon, but it was good. I really enjoyed it. It was brilliant to play against Pedro Sevenasiva.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be able to say that in my life, so that was good.
That's pretty cool. So now your team's finished at the top of the ladder with only 1 loss in the final round against Eels.
Yeah.
However, heading into the division split, the Raiders only just made top 4. What would you say has led to your side's dominance in the Division 1 stage of the competition?
I think we just come closer as a unit. At the beginning of the season, we didn't really know each other that well, and I think there's only like 4 or 5 lads that played at Henley last year. So at the beginning of the season, we had a few training sessions where we didn't really have many there training, but then we've attracted a few more players, and it's just got better and better and become closer. We're a lot closer as friends now as well off the field, so I think that contributes a lot to it.
Yep. This weekend in the major semi-finals, you'll face the defending back-to-back champions, Roosters Blue.
Yeah.
You have beaten them 3 times in the regular season.
Yeah.
How do you think your side will fare this weekend?
It's always a tough encounter between us and Centrals. I don't think we can really take anything out of beating them, because, like I say, it's been real tough every time we've played them, but hopefully we can push through and get the win and have a week off next week, because I know we definitely need it.
Okay, let's move on to you, Ducky. Firstly, where does that name come from?
It's quite a popular subject, especially around in Adelaide. And unfortunate, when I was playing for New South Wales Schoolboys Rugby, I was involved in a tackle against Queensland Country and fractured my pelvis.
Oh,
and spent the following rest of that week of the tour hobbling around and pretty much looked like a duck waddling. And like all unwanted nicknames, they tend to travel, and that followed me here to Adelaide as well.
Wow, so that was over there. Right. Okay, last year you faced Roosters Blue in the grand final as a Northern Dragon. This year you've moved over to Eels. How do you feel as an Eel now, the season's end?
It's a different environment. I mean, as Dragons, we're a very close unit of guys, and we're all very good friends, and we're a very small club, only being one side involved there. But now, as an Eels, I mean, I was originally an Eels player from years gone by, so it's kind of a homecoming, but due to the amount of influx of other players, especially we've got some guys from the Army, some from the Air Force that have started with us this season, it's kind of like a rebuilding from scratch as a group, but as you know, we managed to get a win last weekend. We're very fortunate, but I think that's a turning point for us. We're finally starting to get things right.
Yep. Your team, the Eels, won the Division 2 Premiership last year. Now this year the Eels won side are strong contenders for the Division 1 Premiership. You've posted wins against the Souths, as of last week, topped the ladder side Henley Raiders. However, were never able to finish on top against the Roosters Blue, with several draws but no wins. Has a sense of rivalry developed there?
I think it's a very healthy rivalry, especially between us and Central. Central's are a very well-structured team, and that's come from the last 2 seasons. You see that structure develop, and they simply don't break that structure, and they're very, very disciplined at it. We tend to be a little bit more off the cuff, and some of our Islander players are very sort of spur of the moment type players, and sometimes it can work, and obviously it hasn't worked for us against Centrals at the moment. But I'm confident. I feel we've sort of got things right the last few weeks. I'm very confident we can manage to do a little bit better.
First week of finals, you'll face the Souths, who you only just narrowly defeated last time. The Bulldogs will definitely come out with some fierce competition. Do you feel confident that the Eels will be able to make it through to the preliminary final?
I am confident. I mean, the last time we did play them at Victoria Park, we were under strength, and it was a very determined win by us, being a little bit undermanned. But you know, South's being a very proud club, they really had a good crack at us. But I feel confident we've got most of our roster back for the finals, and I feel that we can get the job done. Yep.
And you're a captain now. How do you feel about that?
I'm actually pretty stoked about it, to be honest. I've played a long time. It's the first opportunity I've had to captain a side, and you know, this will be my last and final season of rugby league, so pretty good gift on the way out, I think.
For all information on fixtures, results and where to play NRL and SA, visit the SARL website at www.sarugbyleague.com.au. I'm Laura Eckert, and you've been watching the fresh 92.7 SARL panel. Best luck to all of the teams.